organization called YoungLeaders.World, and our goal is to help students understand at a deep level what leadership means. So what do I mean by deep level? I know that when I was in school, I sometimes thought that learning was to pass tests. I thought that I needed to learn math so that I could give the right answer on the test and get a good mark. But once I started to truly learn math and understand that understanding the numbers of life, of my life, would help me travel, would help me save, would help me donate. Understanding math instead of just kind of surface learning math changed everything for me. Same with health and phys ed. Once I understood that health and phys ed was so much more than memorizing food groups and breaking a personal best, but it was about a deep learning of those things so that I could have a healthy life for the rest of my life. Then everything changed. Once I understood social studies, and deeply learning social studies was more than just memorizing the names of leaders and dates, but it was about understanding how the world works. It was about understanding cultures and social justice. So when I talk about understanding a deep learning of leadership, I'm talking about allowing it to change the way you are, allowing it to change the way you live. That's a deep understanding of leadership. And once I understood that deeply, I needed to start an organization to really help kids understand leadership. So for 22 years, I traveled around the world to learn from ordinary people like you and I who created extraordinary change, not just for themselves, but for their communities, whether that be their school, their city, their region, or even their country. And what I did was I looked at all of the things from all of them from 22 years, all of the things that they did, and tried to find three things that they all did. Three things that they all did. And so what I want to share with you today is those three things. And then I tested them before bringing them to you. Actually, I tested them to start YoungLeaders.World. So let's jump in. And one of the first things I want to share is, here's my team. And so our team actually rotates, much of our team rotates every year because we really want to actually have young leaders run young leaders. So when I started Young Leaders back in 2015, I'm about to share how I started it. It was through these three steps that I'm about to share with you. First, let's go back to grade 7, where a teacher almost by accident taught me the first of the three things that you need to do to take where you are now and get yourself where you want to be. And that's what leaders can do. They can take where they are now, they can take their organization, their team, their school, and bring that to where they want it to be. And so they break it into 3 steps, and that's what I want to share with you. But first, in grade 7, my teacher taught me this lesson almost by accident. If you can imagine, one of the assignments was write down what you want your life to look like in 25 years. I was in grade 7. I was thinking like 25 years, like I'm worried about grade 8, or I don't even know what stream of classes I can take in grade 10. Forget about 25 years, I don't know. And then the teacher said, if you weren't scared, and if you thought you could do anything, what would you do? Just write that down. And then in 25 years, we're going to call you and give you that piece of paper back to see if it actually happened. Well, that seemed like a stretch for me, that they would be able to find me in 25 years, but whatever. The whole school did that assignment. We wrote down, in 25 years, I want my life to be. And this is what I wrote down. In 25 years, I want to be traveling all over the world all the time. In 25 years, I want to make a living by playing sports. And in 25 years, I want to be in volunteering all over the world. That's what I wrote. Folded it up, gave it to the teacher along with a picture of myself of how I looked in grade 7. And then she said, okay, in 25 years, we're going to call everybody. Can you imagine? 25 years later, they phoned. I had just moved back from living in Shanghai, China for 3 years. I had already been to 50 countries, several of them multiple times. I was working as a phys ed teacher in China, so making my living through sport. And I was volunteering on 4 continents per year. Every single thing that I wrote down happened. Every single thing I wrote down happened. And that's when I knew I needed to start an organization called YoungLeaders.World to teach people the steps to make the life that they envision happen. So here are the 3 steps. Let's jump in. The first is, and if you have the worksheet that I created, you can take it out now and follow along. And if not, feel free to just jot down anything you'd like on a piece of paper. But the first thing that all of these leaders do is they're able to see it. They can see the life that they want. It's not the life that they currently have. They can see the life that they want. So whether that is, you can see the life you want for your school, for your student council, for your family, for yourself, for your city, for your country, whatever it is, the first thing is you need to be able to see the life you want. We call it a vision. Can you envision a life that does not yet exist? It's a really important part of leadership. Leaders are visionaries. Can you envision a life that doesn't yet exist, but that you want to create? Okay, that's vision. Can you see it? Now, the place that I learned this lesson really clearly was in Mexico. This story starts off by me just watching TV. I was watching a documentary, and in this documentary, it was about an American woman who was driving through Mexico with her husband, and they started to run low on gas. And so she said to her husband, let's pull over here because I don't want to run out of gas. And so what we'll do is we'll pull over here and then we'll drive in the morning when we can see where we are. So that's what they did. And just as the sun was coming up, Charla is her name, Charla got out of the car and went for a walk. And she came upon this like really big open field. And in that open field, there was nothing, like barren land. But she thought to herself, she had this quick vision in her mind of kids in that field laughing and playing and being happy. Okay, she went back to her car, they started the drive, and a few miles down the road, they came across this. They came across a garbage dump with massive piles of garbage and people walking along them and trucks pulling in to dump new garbage. As Charla and her husband looked closer, they realized that the people walking on the piles, that many of them were children. So Charla and her husband got out of the car and spoke to the children and asked why they live there and spent the whole day with them, getting to know them, finding out their stories. And many of them said that they lived there because their parents dropped them off there a number of years ago. And they wait each day for the garbage trucks to come in to see if there's any clothes that are still wearable and any food that's still edible. Now, Charla, obviously, as you or I, heard these stories and her heart broke. Charla went back to the United States and started to envision how she could create a better life for those kids. She closed her eyes and saw again that vision of that field that was barren being full of kids laughing and playing. Charla sold her house and everything she owned. She went back to the place where she actually originally envisioned that happy life for those kids, that barren land in the desert. And she bought the land. She bought the land and she adopted all 64 children from the garbage dump and raised them. Now, I'm watching this documentary and I am shocked. I'm a teenager when I'm watching this documentary, and I couldn't believe that she could take something that she just envisioned and made it real at that scale. And so that was the first time that I started, back when I was a teenager, this idea of deeply learning leadership. So I went to meet her, and when I got there, I saw this. I saw exactly what she had envisioned: children laughing and playing. And at this time, the time that I was there, she had 82 children that she was raising. Truly extraordinary. So then it was time to test it on myself. So I had done a number of years of learning from people like Carla that no one's ever heard of. And I thought, what are the three things that are in common? They can all see it, they all believe it, they all do it. So I'm going to try this for myself. I'm going to close my eyes. I was working as a teacher at the time, and a high school teacher, and I was doing volunteer teaching of teachers abroad. And I actually really was quite happy with my life, to be honest. I felt like I was in a good place, but I closed my eyes and I asked myself, if I wasn't scared of failing or the answer being no when I asked people things or whatever, if I wasn't scared, what would I actually envision my life to be? And I closed my eyes. This is back in 2015. And I wrote what is now YoungLeaders.World. When I closed my eyes, I saw this picture. I saw a picture of a crowd, very blurry, a big crowd, and lights in the crowd. And I wrote it down, and I wrote, I see the world being a classroom for me to learn from all the time, and a classroom also to teach in. And I see myself standing on a stage, and I see lights, and I see and feel people being inspired to learn more. I see people being inspired to build a great life for themselves and for the community. And then I wrote, and I will be grateful, for this will most certainly be true. And I read that. Actually, I wrote it right here in this journal here. And I wrote that, and I read it to myself twice a day, every morning and every night, till I didn't have to read it anymore, till I could just memorize it. And I want to share with you that that vision, that this three-step, process that I'm sharing with you now, 6 months minus 3 days later, so just 3 days shy of 6 months, this picture in my mind actually looked like this picture in real life. It had come true. And it wasn't luck, and it wasn't magic. It was leadership. It was understanding deeply the power of leadership that I had learned from all those extraordinary people from around the world. You have that power too. When you look at bringing this conference together, the power of leadership brought this conference together. The power of leadership, Stu and his team imagined what could be for thousands of young people around the world, envisioned it, believed in it, and then worked to make it happen. That's leadership. That's the formula. So what I want to do with you now is share a short video, and then I'm going to give you a couple minutes to jot down for yourself, if you could envision the life that you want in 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, what would you write? First, let's watch this video on vision writing.
Really, it all comes down to one choice. Will you lead life, or will you let life lead you? How do you create a future that doesn't yet exist? How real is this idea of leadership, that we can intentionally change the future for better? When there are so many unanswered questions in your mind, is it possible to create a vision that is so clear, so real, that those questions fade away? Can our imagination be that powerful? Can we take an idea, a picture of the future, this intangible vision, and make it real? In fact, that's exactly the way it works. The world either unfolds around you, or it is shaped by people who see it differently.
There is a connection in your mind between who you are today and who you believe you will be in the future. This connection, this vision, is meant to be seen, shaped, and pursued. It's the way we build a better world. What will you accomplish in your future? And who will you serve with your gifts? Truly see it, imagine it, grab hold of it with such detail that making it happen is only a matter of time. Decide what will happen in your life and decide who you will be within this world that's so big and so small, and then work to make it so.
And we know it's not always easy. We know hard work is involved. We know the troubles that will come, that will get you knocked off track. Get ready to make mistakes. Time and time and time again, you will be tested. And we know you're up to the task. That you will get up and try again. Do it again. Work at it again. Commit to it again. Because through it all, you will keep coming back to that same spot, that same idea, that you can either lead life or let life lead you. So you lead. Your vision is a powerful thing. It's the way we make the world better for you and for others. See it, believe it, do it.
See it, believe it, do it.
The power of vision is where it starts. But then there's two other things you need to do to bring that to life. You need to believe it. And so I'm spending most of my time in this 20 minutes with you on that first part. Can you actually imagine the life you want? And then close your eyes and believe it. And then tell yourself when you're by yourself that you can and will achieve it. That part's important. Because if you tell yourself you can't achieve it on the inside, it's going to be really hard for people to believe that you're pursuing it on the outside. So can you also take that vision and believe it? And the last thing is, can you work to get it done? Can you actually every day put in the work to get it done? Because that last part, that last piece is what separates dreamers from leaders. It's what separates dreamers from leaders. Can you work to get it done? Can you commit to the dream? Now, I'd love to share with you literally hundreds and thousands of stories of young people your age who really learned these 3 steps. Could they see it, then believe they could do it, and then get to work to make it happen? That's actually what you need to do. And there's hundreds and thousands of people that I know of who took those 3 steps to get from where they are now to where they wanted to be. See it, believe it. When you're by yourself, believe it, and then get to work